was a man just like us. Okay? He prayed earnestly that it would not rain, and it did not rain on the land for 3.5 years. So he was a man just like us. So when we say that, Joyce mentioned that Elijah obeyed everything. No, not necessarily. We see it where he did obey. It's where he did obey because he was a man just like us. What does that mean? He don't obey all the time. So don't go around thinking that Elijah had some special type of faith because he didn't. He was a man like you and me. So, but his life is relevant for us today. He had the same basic likes and he had the same basic needs. He was happy at times and he was depressed at times. I'm happy at times and I'm depressed at times. I'm excited about this church at times and I'm depressed about this church at times because I don't know where God is going sometimes. I just have to go along with the journey because God is the boss and my job is not to ask God or question God why. It's just to do. And that can be difficult. So I need you to go back and think in your mind that Elijah, everything you see Elijah do is possible for you because the Bible says he was a man like you and me. He wasn't hand chosen, picked to be the special prophet because he was a man like you and me. And God can use people like you and me. If you get your house in order, if you settle your loyalties. Let's go a little bit further. Not only was Elijah a man like you and me, but Noah was a man like you and me. You think that after 120 years of building an ark 200 miles from the ocean on dry land, that people didn't mock him and laugh at him and say, you stupid? You think that he didn't sometime want to just throw the hammer down and say, I'm done with this nonsense. Why am I doing this? Yes. Right. But he was a man like you and me. Right. He had feelings. There were times he wanted to say, you know what? At times I said, I am done with this. I'm tired of this. I'm done. And then I turn around, come right back. Jeremiah is saying, I'm done with this. I'm not going to talk about God anymore. And as he turned around, he said, but it's just like fire shut up in my bones. It's when the word is instilled in you. I don't care how many times you want to quit. It's like I can't. It's like sometimes I just want to give up, Joyce. I mean, I'm tired. I get tired. People have attitudes, and people don't do what you ask them to do. And then you say, am I doing this alone? Am I doing this all by myself? And you say, I'm walking away. And then you go right back to doing what you know you need to do. And God will give you that peace. God will give you that rest for another season. And then you want to throw the hammer down like Noah did too. Oh, yeah. It's human nature. We're all like that. Every last one of you feel just like I feel at times. Look, Bible characters walked and they lived on the same ground we do. Stop looking at these people as being, oh, these are special people. They're all like you. And they're all like me. They get hurt. They do stupid things. They laugh. They cry. They have feelings. But the Bible is giving us people from all different types of lives that face challenges. They face opposition from other people. And many times, like I said, they wanted to quit. Don't think they did not have bad days. I have bad days. You have bad days. I understand bad days come. But new mercies come each morning. And God will fill you back up when you leaked all out. And give you strength again if you have some word in you. He'll do those kind of things for you. And there are times, April, I don't even trust God. I don't even know where you're going. I don't know what you're doing. Deep down in us, deep down in my inner being, I know I'm having a pity party. I know I am. Because I know I do trust God. It's me I don't trust. But I start to feel that way. And sometimes I just need a hug. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. I'm talking about spiritual hug. I just need time with God alone by myself. And I know that I'm going through certain things in my life because God is trying to root out some things that I'm trying to hold on to. Yes. Same way with why Elijah had to go through all these different phases in his life. And we have not even hit all of them yet. But this has been a wonderful journey so far. I think you guys have learned a lot about Elijah that you never knew about in these last few weeks. But there's a uniqueness about this man. He endured something that so many people that was here and heard the word and like, Pastor, I knew that the word is so good. But when God puts them through a test, they're gone. We have to develop some enduring power. When God fills us back up, don't turn around and say, I'm done. Because when you have the word in you, you're not done. Elijah obeyed. There was a lot of things that we went through that we found that God had to root out of this Jewish man. And as with the Hebrew woman, not with the Hebrew woman, but with the Gentile woman, he learned to love her. He didn't learn to love her child. And when she fell apart, he said, give me the child. It was because he felt compassion for her. 2 years she cooked for him. 2 years he lived in the same house. And when you live with a person and you see the kindness of the people, you learn to love people. People that he hated. He hated Gentiles. But he learned to love like God loved. God loves us all. He learned that. And that's something that we have to learn. Because we don't like certain people. But God takes us on a journey that will help us to understand and love people. And he loved her. And this is what made him special. When I say special, I mean usable. Because God can't use everybody. That's true. Because we can be so hard, so stubborn, so mean-spirited. And that is us. Amen. We have to learn to let go sometimes. Yeah. But see, that's the difference between these Bible characters. Some let go and some didn't. One was Jonah. And one is this man right here. That's true. He let go and Jonah did. Jonah held firm. I'm a hater of humanity. He hated the Assyrians. He didn't want to tell them nothing about God. And God said, go tell them. He didn't want to tell them nothing. He was mad. He said, you know what? I knew you were a loving and forgiving God. And went up there and sat on the mountain. And he wanted judgment. Kill him. And that's how we are sometimes. We want people out of our lives. Lord, if you just get rid of them. Just show them your anger. Bring down, like the Apostle John, bring down fire upon them. Well, you don't know the mind of God. That's a bad attitude. But we're just creatures with bad attitudes all the time. Religion is this denomination, that denomination. We got God, they don't. What the heck? We all say we love God. But we like to break ourselves up into divisions instead of working together. And hey, we got different views, but we all love God. Let's go a little bit further. He was usable. And when God can use us in the time of spiritual darkness, like what we're going through right now in this world today. If you're usable, God will use you. If not, he will not. Elijah was usable at the time of spiritual darkness. During Israel's spiritual crisis, it was a spiritual crisis going on in the life of Israel, in Israel at that point in time. Things were looking bad. But even though things look bad, Peggy, God is still in control. It doesn't matter how bad, things are so bad. It doesn't matter. God is still in control. He still sits on the throne, buddy.
Yes, he does.
It's God's throne.
Yes.
He's running the show. He knows what's going on. God doesn't sleep, and he doesn't take short naps. You're gonna see Elijah laugh at him. He says, how come it's not working out for you? Is he gone to the restroom or something? Is your God gone to the restroom? Is that, he's throwing a crack at them because their God doesn't answer prayer. But we know our God does. He answers prayer when we're right, when we're in his will. If your prayers are not being answered, guess what? It's not because God is incapable. It's because you haven't been through the crucible yet, getting heated up like Elijah, Zarephath, where the metal is bending, and when metal bends, it screams. That means your will is being broken. The metal doesn't want to bend, so it screams. It's heated up. It's hot. And when we bend, we scream. And when we're bent to the position that God wants us in, we kind of like it. But it's hell going through it. Let me tell you something. It's hell going through it. But God knows how to do it. Let's go a little bit further. Look, things were looking bad. Evil seemed to have prevailed. It seemed that Israel was gone forever. They were so wicked. You had the evil Ahab on the throne. But you had the wicked Queen Jezebel behind the throne. She was the real power of the throne. She was the one behind the scenes, manipulating her husband to do her will. And remember, her father was a prophet of Baal, and that became the bride of an Israel king. And so, remember, I told you that her father, being a prophet of Baal, he killed the king, their king of Tyre. He killed the king of Tyre, and he took the throne. And so, she came from total Baal worship. And now what she was doing was, she orchestrated it and planned to make Baal the God of Israel. And it was working. Or so she thought, Valerie. It was working. And so they were going through a time of prosperity. And see, when you go through a time of prosperity, you wink your eye at wickedness because everything's good for me. And though she had named Baal the God, and she did it by persecution. If you didn't agree along with it, she'll have you killed. This is why Obadiah was so frightened to tell Ahab that Elijah was alive because they had been looking for him. And he was afraid that Elijah would just disappear and wind up somewhere else. And the king would turn around and since he said he was alive and he didn't show up, then he was afraid that I would lose my life. And so he was frightened. And so things were bad. And see, I'm saying because you need to understand just look at the White House today. Just look at the White House. You see how bad things are? It's bad. It's real bad. Well, the system was just like that. Except for nobody would speak against the king. But guess what? Everybody got a tax break. Just a little tax break. And everybody was happy. Vegetables were growing. Fruit was growing. Everybody was eating. Until Elijah showed up on the scene. And he said, it ain't going to be no more rain. Let me tell you something. God is still on the throne. And you will not have no rain. And then that constituted a spiritual crisis everywhere. Not only a spiritual crisis, it was a crisis. Man don't eat, things get bad. And it began to get bad. So look, not only, and I just caught this because I was reading over it again. Not that it was no rain, but no dew. See, let me tell you something. When God had enough, Sam, not only does he don't get any rain in your life, but dew, that's just a little lick of water. He said, none. You got to see how bad. I just caught that. I said, you know what? I never seen I seen the dew, but I never thought about it. I never thought about dew. Dew comes early in the morning where, even the animals pick the dew. Yes, yes. And God said, no more. You can go too far, Birdie. You can play with God too far. And God says, okay, I'm going to shut it down. See, God will make you scream. You say, we can be so tough and say, I'll never do that again. Look, maybe with humans you won't ever do that again. But you can't put your foot down or your high heel down and say, this is the law with me. God can raise it up. He knows how to raise it up. And you know what? When God does it, it's bad. It's real bad. It's like you'll be glad to lift your foot. Now, you got to understand the crisis that's going on right now. 3 years, no water. And they're looking for water so that they can feed their animals because they're dying. And when animals are dying, they don't have, it's not, you kill them, they don't have no meat on their skin and bones. Yeah. And Elijah, the king is looking one area, he's walking with his man, and he sent Obadiah, his servant, in another area. They're looking for water. Any kind of water so that he can feed his animals. That's bad. See, God will get you starting to think. The things ain't like what they used to be. Remember, Baal, he is the God of fertility. He's the God of crops, or agriculture. He's the God of all of that. And God's saying, you really think so? You really think so? Joyce mentioned electronics. You got all your mind into, I gotta have this gadget, and that gadget, spending all your time on everything else. And see, that's the crisis that we're in now. We don't even talk to each other anymore. In fact, we don't even talk to each other on the phone anymore. We just text each other. That's not how to communicate, my friends. It really isn't. But I don't call people because they don't pick up their phone. So you just text them. That's bad. That's real bad. But that's the way we're going. Because you can't show forth God's goodness by just texting. You need to meet and talk with people and fellowship with people. But we don't even know how to talk to each other anymore. And the first time you tell somebody something, because that's their God. That's become their God. And they don't know it. But until God gets your attention. All right, let me go a little bit further. Look. There had been, God said, I'm going to turn the water off. You ever hear anything like that? I'm going to turn the water off. And God will bring you back. God knows how to bring us back to himself. God said, I'm going to shut your blessings off. Everybody's going to back away from you. It's showdown time. And God can bring a showdown like you can't believe. This is a showdown. So he cut the water off, and God made it clear through Elijah that Yahweh was alive and well. Nothing wrong with Yahweh. He's still alive. He's on the throne. And then what things are about to change? Give me verse 15, chapter 18. Give me 15. Y'all stay with me, okay? I think you need to, no, that's, go back to, okay, down a little bit more. Okay, 15, down a little bit more. You're not in James, are you? Yes. You should be in. You should be in 1 Kings 18.
What was James what?
No, First Kings.
1 Kings 18. Okay, you guys stay with me on that. Look what Elijah said. Elijah said, "As the Lord, as the Lord Almighty lives, whom I serve, I will surely present myself to Ahab today." Okay? So Elijah's coming to meet up with Ahab. Okay? Now, this has been going on for how many years? 3 years. That's pretty bad. Some of us have been in ruts for 3 years and still haven't got it. Okay? No, I'm serious. I know I've been in for longer than that. I know you can get in a rut for a long time and get worse before you get better. Okay, look. Now, again, it's a sore family. Now, during this time, Elijah, remember that he had protected custody. Nobody knew where he was. Okay? But God was building character in him. Okay? And that's very important because all of us are going to go through this time of God building character. This is our sanctification process. And you're going to go through it for the rest of your life. Okay? That God is going to, just because you've been through a long trial, you came out of it, you're victorious. Now God says, okay, now I can use you on another level. And guess what? You have to go through a trial. James says, count them as a joy because God is really, trials are actually a blessing to get you closer to God so that you can be more usable. Okay, so it didn't come easy for Elijah, and it doesn't come easy for us. For us to say, you know, I really want to get close to God, well, you got to go through something. Okay, so look. So again, now let's look at verse 16. After Elijah has now spent that time at the widow's woman's house, remember, he spent time by the brook, he spent time at the widow's woman's house. Now he's coming out. Now the people are ready to talk. And Elijah is going to meet with Ahab. Okay? So look at verse 16. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him that Ahab went to meet Elijah. Let me read that again. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him, and Ahab went to meet Elijah. And he saw Elijah and said to him, now this should just make you laugh. Look what he said. After 3 years, and let me tell you, this is just what people go through when they go through trials. They never focus on themselves. They always put it on somebody else. Look what he said. Is that you, you troubler of Israel? Now wait a minute. Y'all didn't get that, did you? Please. Instead of saying, look, I'm the king of Israel. And our whole history is based on Yahweh, God. And I'm hooked up with this woman who is serving Baal. And every leader has been blessed by God. And guess what? I got 3 years out. And he's going to call, Elijah is letting you know that God lives. He reigns. He's still sitting on the throne. And you say, you're trouble. You're the troubler of Israel. Because we don't like change, Sam. I'm serious. We don't like change. It makes us uncomfortable. It's giving in, Valerie. It's surrendering. I don't want to change from who I am. But God will make a change. This man, this king, did not get it. But I think the people want to get it, but they're siding with the king. Here we go. He says, you troubler of Israel. So he claimed that Elijah was the problem. And like I said, believers and leaders today, I guess somebody in the White House need to recognize the fact that there's a problem somewhere. And it ain't with all the people. It starts with the man on top. And there's a problem there. Okay. And he's not recognized. He says everything is just peachy cool. But people are flying out every day. Things are happening. Look, we always want to blame others when we're in a backslidden mood. Come join me in my misery. And let's try to work out a way to get out of it. You can't get out of situations like that. Not when God is in control of everything. So look, Elijah said, no. It's kind of funny. It's going back and forth. You're the troubler. Oh, no, not me. You're the troubler. He said, I have not made trouble for Israel. I don't even know why he said that. It's just kind of funny to me. It looked like they're going back and forth. Oh, no, not me. I'm not the troubler of Israel. Elijah replied, but you, and he's telling them just like it is, but you and your fathers have. You guys, your whole family. You ever think of your whole family tree? You guys are the problems involved. You know what I'm talking about, Sam. You know exactly right. No, it ain't. You guys and your fathers are the problem with what's going on right now. Listen, I was thinking about that. Sam would like that part. Okay, look. You have abandoned the Lord's command and have been following Baal. Have you ever thought about that? Is everybody following God in this church?
Yes.
Really? Really? I guarantee you, the Bible says only a few.
I hope so.
Only a few. Okay? Listen to my point. Only a few. I'm not talking about being saved. We're all talking about where 2 or 3 are gathered. Let me tell you something. He said, I'm in the midst. Let me tell you something. How many people do you think are committed to God? Amen. I would ask you to go through a checkpoint in your life. You'll find out that I'm not following God at all. You're scared to do something like that. You should challenge yourself and ask yourself, am I following myself or am I following God? Even Joshua did the same thing. And his conclusion was, but as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. Peggy, everybody's not getting what I'm saying. Because everybody want to believe you're saved, but everybody want to believe they're following God. Yeah, that's not true.
Sometimes they are.
That's not true. Maybe 1 or 2 times a day. But that's not true. If you don't see that, you don't see the message here. I'm only saying that we need to pay attention and evaluate our lives on a consistent basis. The Bible says, be still, go to bed and examine yourself. I didn't say that. The Bible said that. When you lay down in your bed, the Bible said, when you lay down in your bed, examine yourself. Why? When it's quiet and there's no disturbances, then God will show you things. He can't show you when the TV's on all the time, when the radio's blaring, when the sound of traffic, and when you just driving your car and everything, going through malls and going eating and all. You can't hear God. But when it gets quiet, then you can find out I ain't right. Okay. Amen. You know what? Amen. That's why there ain't a lot of people here. Because people don't like to hear stuff like that. That's true. But I'm trying to tell you, if you want to follow God, you have the opportunity while you're still sucking in air. You have the opportunity now. Because when you close your eyes, there's no more opportunity. Not to just say, but the rewards that God has for those who love Him. That's what it says. It says, love Him for those who love Him. Not say, I believe in you. That'll get you salvation. That won't get you blessings. That won't get you blessings here, and that won't get you blessings, rewards in heaven. Let me go a little bit further. Okay, look. So, this is the problem with God's people. We don't like, listen to what I'm saying. Please, write this down so you don't forget exactly how I said this. Look, the problem with God's people is that we can't get right with God. If you want to get right with God, we all want to get right with God, right? But you can't get right with God until you deal with your issues first. Do you understand what I'm saying? I know that's kind of difficult. You can't get right with God until you deal with your issues first. You got to clean up your issues that you have to get right with God. We all want to get right with God, but we don't want to correct areas in our life that is a problem. Would you agree, April? Because you know what, Bertie? We like doing those things. It's like, I don't want to change from that. I don't want to do that. No, no, no. We have to have a broken and contrite heart. David committed adultery with Bathsheba. He still was the king. He still was walking around the leader of Israel and the top guy of God's own chosen men. But his prayers wasn't being answered, and he was miserable. Have you ever been praying and said, I'm miserable, and just don't want to pray anymore? Because you haven't dealt with the problem. And God had to send a prophet to him and give him a short story and about a lamb. One man had one lamb and a man had 100. And that man had 100 took that one lamb, that one little bitty lamb. And when David heard that story, he said, that man shall die. Yep. And the prophet looked back at him and said, that man is healed. Before you can get right with God, you have to deal with your issues, or you'll never get right with God. God will put you on a 3-year drought to bring you to the point to deal with your issues. You can only deal with them today, now, while you're alive. I don't know. I really don't know. Ahab and the people love Baal worship. You know why they love Baal worship? Because they could go up to the high grounds, they can go to the groves, and they can worship God and have a prostitute as well. Right. Okay? People like to get more for their buck. In other words, I'll tell you the truth today. That makes a lot of people happy. Yeah. Well, I can serve God and have a little fun too. No, I'm trying to make a point here. That made people want to worship God. That's why they left God. They left God, the God of Israel, to be like the pagans and have prostitutes there for them when they get finished worshiping. It made them give money. Yeah, give your money. Yeah. Hey, on the way out, yeah, 1 or 2 prostitutes. Hey, your president is full of it. Okay. He does the same doggone thing. Hey, it will come home to you though. Huh? Roosters come home to roost. I'm telling you, it happens every single time. No. You wish to God you never did it. Because I'm going to tell you something. I know Mama in the White House is not happy. And when Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Okay, I don't know if y'all understand what I'm talking about. But look. They got accustomed to that lifestyle. When people get accustomed to things, they don't want to give it up. You get accustomed to guns, you don't want to give up the big ones. They say you need a little one. And they want all of it. No, you guys don't. Okay, whatever. Let me leave that because people don't want to change. They get accustomed to it. They don't see what's wrong with it. Well, we've been doing it, but look, you know what people always say? We've been doing it for so many years. That doesn't make it right. Okay, so there are things we know and we should not be doing it. But we've been doing it for so long, we don't want to give it up. It is something we all do. And God is telling us today, deal with it. Deal with your issues if you want my blessings. Look what he says in 18 and 19. 18 and 19 he says, look. But no, I have not made trouble for Israel, Elijah replied, but you and your father's family have. You have followed the Baals. Now, summons the people from all over Israel to meet with me on Mount Carmel and bring the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of Ashtra. Remember, Ashtra is the one, the idol god that had his hands out like this. He was iron. They heated him up real hot. If you really wanted something bad enough and you really wanted his blessings, you would sacrifice your own child on that. And you had to sit there and watch your child burn up in his arms.
Wow.
Now, that would make you lose compassion for anything. It would make me hate a God that would do something like that. Yeah. But that's what they got used to get what they want, to become selfish. Wow. And a loss of compassion, to become none. Like these little kids killing up people on their little video machine. And the heads are exploding. Before you know it, you can do that for real. And have no compassion. Because you killed somebody. You've been killing them for three years on the computer. Be careful with what you let your children do. Because they wind up killing their own parents. That might scare you. I mean, they have no compassion. All right. Look, what am I? I'm a pastor in Bikini Tracks. What do I know? Okay, I don't know that much. Look. God is calling for a showdown. Did you guys get that? He's calling for a showdown. You know, God will shame you in front of everybody. This is what he's calling on. But first of all, he just wants you to get it. He wants you to understand something. And the problem is, even Christians, they don't get it. Because I was talking about songs that we sing. Did you listen to the wording? But I've been singing it all my life. Did you listen to the wording? But I've been singing it all my life. And you're not going to change people. Every time I hear that song, I feel so close to God. Did you listen to the words? The words don't make sense. The words make you think you're doing it and not God. Those words do not give glory to God. It gives glory to yourself. I have to fast this day. I pray. I got to stay into the narrow way. It's God who keeps us. It is God who keeps us. And when you start saying you make your own self God, and that's what happened to Satan. Okay, y'all need to read your Bible. I'm just saying, look. Jesus says you cannot serve two masters. You will either love one or the other. Amen. You will serve one and you will serve the other. But we can't serve two gods. You can't serve all of your toys, all of your jewelry, all of your wardrobe, all of you, the things you want to do, and God at the same time. God doesn't say you can't have these kind of things. We idolize this stuff. We idolize cars. We idolize houses. Oh, we give up everything, but I ain't giving up this. We don't trust God. God can take care of you better than you take care of yourself. And God will challenge you to think about it. All right, let's go a little bit further. Look. We need to start phasing these other things out and learn to start trusting God. Don't elevate these things above God. And most of us say, what, me? Me? I don't do that. Look, that's the first sign that you elevate things over everybody else. When you first thing you say, me? No, not me. Yeah. Again, please go to bed and start checking off some things that you can't do without in your life. The only person or thing you can't do without person or thing is you can't do without God. Amen. You can't, and you'll understand it. Just sometimes drop your phones. Let it go. Stay out of the streets so much. We always just got to stay out in the streets. Always, look. I'm telling you something. Don't worship your job. Just do your job. Don't worship your job. Just do your job. Don't worship that TV. You don't have to, every time you come in, the first thing that happens, click, worship, TV. You don't have to do that. Look, another thing, you don't worship no man. Look, they're human beings. Don't worship no woman. She's just a human being. I don't care what you think. Look, don't worship your grandchildren. They're just children that God has lent to you for a time. Everybody belongs to God. God just lends children to us. God just lends grace. What for? To tell them about the goodness of God. Some of my kids don't even know God. Why? We never talk to them about God. That's your number one witness. Your children. Look. Don't worship your bank account. You know how much money I got in the bank? Okay. But it can't help you if the doctor said you've got 3 months to live. It can't help you. No, it can't. Sometimes we get it. Don't worship your body. Oh, yeah, I'm everything in that. No. So everybody's going downhill. It's just life. And God is bringing on a showdown. Okay, so there are things that, there are times that God will call us out and expose these things that we are placing our confidence in. Things that we place our confidence in. God wants to expose these things and free us from this trash. And it is trash. But Christians are still clinging on.
You love listening to music and watching videos online, but how do you record this content so you can enjoy it time and time again? Introducing Loyalties 1 2018, the software that allows you to record, download, and convert hundreds of thousands of movies, videos, music tracks, podcasts, and radio stations from the internet, all at the touch of a button. The Loyalties 1 interface looks great.
Because they will, if you don't do something about it. If you don't do something about it, God said, I will. And God has been speaking to all of us. He's always speaking. But we got our hand up in his face saying, no, don't tread there. Don't tread here. I don't want you in this. You know what? We don't even pray about those things that we don't want him to take. We try to cover it over like it doesn't exist. We do it all the time. It's human nature. We don't reveal to God, we only tell him what we want to tell him. But sometimes we ought to say, you know what's always thinking in the back of my mind, what I'm always thinking? God, I need to deal with that. Can you help me? Oh, how many pray that prayer? I know, I'm coming to a close. Look, I'm coming to a close. Look. So Elijah said, we got to settle this matter. Because he said, you are the problem. And Elijah said, you and your fathers are the problem. So God's going to bring down a showdown to show who's the problem, Bertie. Yes. Okay. So Elijah, 1 Kings 21 said, Elijah went before the people and said, how long will you waver? That word means limp. How long will you limp between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. If Baal is your God, follow him. Okay. Have you made a decision on that today? Amen. Who are you going to follow? You need to start thinking about it. How long are you going to limp through life with divided loyalties? I used to always say when I first started this church, you can't have one foot in this church and one foot outside. It's God said either be out there or be in here. This is where you get your tune-ups all the time to serve God. I have nothing to do with what out there. But everything is in here is to help you. Everything you hear today is to help you out there. But that decision is up to you. You have to make it. You have to desire this. Like you say, as a deer pants for water. You have to desire change. But if you don't desire change in you, you'll never change because you're already depraved. You'll never change for the better. Now look, if the Lord be God, then solely follow him all the way. All the way. Okay, Elijah got the people thinking. Now they're thinking. They had synchronized. I always talk to you about synchronizing their religion. Look at this. We synchronize. Look what we do. Lent. Come this time of year, we all start talking about what the hell is Lent? That's some kind of Catholicism. You'll never find anything like that in the Bible, and nobody sticks to it anyway. That's synchronism. Bunny rabbits. Colored eggs. It's all, what you're doing is you're bringing all the world junk inside the church. That's Baal. Let God be God. and the world be the world. Don't bring that junk in your life. You don't belong to the world anymore. What are you trying to please God with junk? We bring this junk. Look, take it. Cats bring mice in the house dead and present them in front of you. Don't get that cat and that mouse out of this house. Don't bring me no junk. But that's what we do. We bring God just a little bit of what we want to bring him. We don't bring him what he wants. What did Elijah bring him? Obedience. Amen. Sacrifice. That's what God wants. That's worship. Saying, I will. Not like Peter who said, no, I've never done that. No. Ash Friday. What the heck is Ash Friday? Is that in the Bible? Yeah, but what is that junk? If we think we're meeting God's approval, I saw newscasters on Fox News with the big. What the heck is that? You're talking hatred in the big X of ashes on your forehead? Okay, not getting it. Sex. You can't incorporate religion in sex. Oh God, I just love this man so much. If loving you is wrong, I'd rather be right. Every time I hear that song, I just feel like, look, you worshiping your old times, your sinful life. Me and Mrs. Jones. We got a thing going on. Yeah, I love that song. Every time I hear that song, because you love your filthy life. God has bought you back out of that life. Why, Peggy, resort back to your vomit? Like a dog resorting back to his vomit. Why do we do that with God? Bury that junk. Even a dog, after he's buried, he's still kicks his hind legs over it. Cover it over and go on. I'm sure I made my point. He says, if Baal is your God, then go all the way and totally follow him. Don't waste your time in church. If that's what you want, go out there and get it and live until you are just totally happy. Till you just fall flat on your face. Gorge it up. But if you're going to serve God, then serve him. Give him yourself with your life. Look, I'm going to close with this scripture. 1 Kings 18:21. This is what I'm glad Joyce finished. She finished it. You know what it is? When he asked them, who were you going to serve? Look what he said. But the people said nothing. But the people said nothing. Valerie, that's church members today. April, church members today. Bertie, church members today. They say nothing.
Think about it.
Nothing. That's why I don't have anything else to say. Think about how many times you let it go. You let it go. And God is saying, I told you how to serve me. And you say, nothing. Because you're happy with what you're doing. And you don't want to say anything else. Our leaders are liars. They're sex addicts. They're cheaters. They're money launderers. And they're still saying, they say, what, me? I never did that. But guess what the church is saying? Have you ever noticed? Nothing. Oh, when Obama was in office, oh gosh, this man is the Antichrist.
Yeah.
And today, they are overwhelming, black and white churches are overwhelmingly approving of this man saying nothing. And the sermon is not about these leaders. It really you need to bring it back home to yourself.
Yes.
What are you approving of?
Yes.
There are things you look at, things you watch, places you go, you have no business. What you're really saying is, nothing. That's all we are, just wasted nothing. This country, the believers, this country deserves what they got. You know why? Because they sold out a long time ago. We're sold out. If the Lord is God, follow him. If Baal is God, follow him. If Baal is God, follow him. But the people said nothing. Don't be silent. Don't be silent. Hey, don't be silent. Settle your loyalties. If you for God, then live for God. If you for the world, then live for the world. Doing nothing is saying nothing. Amen. I don't have a deacon here.
Amen. Amen.
Anybody have anything to say about the sermon? I just want to take the offering. On point. 3 years of the trial, and he didn't even provide the due. And I never even thought about that. I read that because Pastor actually was reading ahead of time, but of course that didn't come to mind. So it just lets me know that I don't want my life to be, because time goes by so fast that we can be doing the same thing in 3 years. Just like, wow, I've been in the same position I'm at for 3 years. And what is life when you're just stagnant and you're just where you're at and there's no growth and you're not going anywhere and it's just